gonna be like, I can't hear me anyway.
Good morning, folks. Jeremy Larkin here. Woo-hoo, coming live, literally live from Larkin Group headquarters, the old Cameo Florist building. Well, she's here early. This is kind of fun. The old Cameo Florist building. This is where marriages were consummated. Many were saved. Many were attempted to be saved with floral arrangements, and it's now Larkin Group headquarters. This is the one with the really cool mural. I think it's the coolest mural in southern Utah and maybe west of the Mississippi.
West, that covers a lot of ground. Anything west of the Mississippi.
It's a good 40, 50, 60% of the United States.
It is pretty cool.
Guys, good morning.
We should do a poll.
A poll? Like, yeah, you mean like a poll or a Paul?
A poll.
Because I've got a Jesse Paul here with me, my right-hand man. He's actually on my left hand today. That's P-O-L-L. We're with the Larkin Group, KW Realty. And we want to set you up today, guys. We're going to talk about several things. This is your morning real estate drive. And we're going to talk about affordability today at a historic low. Ouch. From 1990 to 2023. Holy smoke. Little conversation about builders building smaller homes. I'd like to see more and more and more and more of that. About some conversation around buyers wanting smaller homes, right? Amongst other things. So, but listen, we have a guest and we're going to set her up and she's going to get, hey, good morning. By the way, guys.
Nothing like jumping right in.
By the way, guys, if you want to check out our broadcast live, we are live on Facebook right now, facebook.com/St. George Experts, or look up the Larkin Group and you can see us live in our office. Thanks to our friends at Blueform Media who are right here. And they run a beautiful podcast studio. You do not have to set up in your office. Investments were made to convert our lobby here at 695 East Tabernacle into a podcast studio, but not nearly as many as the investments that were made to tear the building
to actually do the building.
Yeah, that was 18 months of my life.
Yeah, just a little bit different.
It was painful. We got to tell you guys a story. Maybe later on this show we can talk about the 80 grand in structural changes that were made. All right, Camille, are you ready to be on?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Yes. You were kind of early, and I love it.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Yeah.
Did you?
It's a long drive out here from Hurricane.
Hey, he knows. He lives there.
Oh, you live in Hurricane?
I do.
Yeah,
it's right downtown.
Hey, me too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like really? Right. He's like
no, literally.
You're
like
on 200, right, Jesse?
I'm like a few blocks away from Lynn's.
So I'm 2 blocks away from the old Maverick.
Oh, okay.
Right on 200 West.
You should come do goat yoga at our little farm sometime.
Yes,
I'll get you. We'll connect after.
We actually have to talk then because I have been looking for a yoga class.
Okay. Oh yeah, we'll talk after. Okay.
This is pretty fun, guys. By the way, she was doing some sort of a flow. I'm spitting down the stairs, and then was just doing a down dog here in the studios. This is Camille Zolman, who is a friend of mine, and I met her several years ago through the yoga community. Guys, we want to. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Also, I have to say the building's absolutely incredible. I've driven by, but I've never been inside, so well done.
Isn't this fun?
Yes, this is well done.
And this is only our second attempt here doing this. Last week was like a test run.
Yeah.
Which is 2 of us. And so
we went from test run to full on studio.
Yeah, we're fully set up. Quick. We're fully set up. Okay, so we want to take, we've got Camille here. We want to talk about the Zion Yoga Festival. Or do you call it Zion Yoga Fest?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So here's the funny thing. There's something I have a problem with the word yogi. The reason is I feel like it's some sort of an identifier. I am a person who really loves and appreciates yoga. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Is that fair? I'm like, am I a yogi?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think that's different than a yogi. Like yogis are much deeper.
Well, okay. What is the definition? Camille, I want your definition.
You know what? It's interesting because I think when we look back at the origins of yoga and where yoga came from, it really isn't about looking a certain way. It's about living a certain way. And so,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of times yoga's great, really happy, super happy to have it out here in the West. But Western influences kind of created this idea of what yoga needs to look like, what you need to look like. And we just
show
remember
sponsored
it's
by
just
Lululemon.
yoga.
Just kidding. It's definitely not sponsored by Lululemon. But I think you're right. Hang on a second. My root chakra is out of alignment. Yeah. If you guys can give me about 30 seconds. Okay. I just needed to, okay. All right. But I do love it. I do love it. And I got involved about 6 years ago. And this was back in the Zossi yoga days.
Yes.
And so
poor Zossi, the pandemic, they never opened back up after the pandemic. I know.
And when I talked to them, I think they were just sick and tired of dealing with, I don't know, once the pandemic hit and then all the studios were closed. So you teach a variety of places.
I do, yes.
Where at?
I teach here in St. George at Sunrock Yoga. So I teach classes as well as run yoga teacher trainings along with Jolyn, the studio owner, and Ryan.
My
Bean.
daughter is certified, 200 hours certified through Sunrock.
Really?
Abby Larkin is her name. Do you remember?
Abby's your daughter?
Yeah, cool, cute.
Okay,
curly hair. Yeah.
Yes.
She's
I love Abby. She always hooked us up with Farmstead.
Bingo.
Because she worked there.
Yeah, she's now at St. George Running
I definitely
Company, so
ate a lot of Farmstead pastries when Abby was in training.
I've been known to consume it.
Oh yes, I love Abby.
Okay, so that's cool. So you do teacher training and teach at Sunrock, and then
I also teach at Moki Yoga in Laverkin.
Jesse, so that's where you need to go.
I know that's where you need to come. My class is 6 a.m. Thursday mornings. Was this morning. So
that'll work perfect.
If you're early. Yeah, if you're an early bird.
He's
oh
my gosh,
4 a.m.
The guy.
You're already on a yogi schedule then. If you're up at 4,
he sleeps beautifully. I don't know what it's about. Okay, so I want to talk. The reason we have Camille in is I think what you guys are doing is so cool with Design Yoga Fest. So what year is this? How many years has it been running now?
Wow. I mean, our first festival was in 2017, but we took we did online in 2020 because of the pandemic. Yeah. And then I had young kids and just didn't have a team at that time and just couldn't do it on my own anymore. And so took a few years off after the pandemic. And last year was our first year back. So I think this is our 6th actual festival, but our first one was back in 2017. So
okay. So setting this up, May 30th to June 2nd.
Yes.
And guys, we want to have these kinds of guests in our program because we're going to talk about real estate in a minute, right? And we'll talk more about it. But we are we have a little tent style, A-frame sign out in front of our office that says Epic Real Estate and Community Info. This really, I think, matters, to the community. So people could come, they can do a day, they can do 2 days, they can pay for all 4 days.
Absolutely.
Right?
And we even have evening passes as well. So if you just want to come and vibe and dance and sing move collectively together, then there's also evening passes as well.
I definitely have a friend that is going to want to come out there with me that's visiting next weekend. So tell me, how many people do you think you'll have?
I mean, it depends. We'll have several hundred for sure.
Yeah.
Over the whole weekend. Yeah. Saturday will be the biggest day just because it is the weekend. So more people are there, but we'll have a couple hundred people over the whole weekend. And it's really great. We really strive. I think you guys allow language on the show. I was like, we're
live radio. So, effing's probably best,
The world is effing on fire right now. And I think a lot of people are just really looking for something to kind of tune in.
Yeah.
And heal, find some calm, find some connection and community with other people. I think we're one of the most connected generations, but disconnected, Well, we're so connected with technology. This is all incredible, but actual connection to other humans, we don't realize how we lack with that. So yeah, it's going to be a really wonderful weekend.
I love I just found her website. And
that's the yoga studio. Go to Zion Yoga Fest.
ZionYogaFest.com, guys.
No, I want to read this quote that you have. Yoga is not about touching your toes. It's about what you learn on the way down.
Dude, so good. That's very solid, by the way. Yeah. I absolutely love that. Okay, the venue, by the way, in Springdale, it's oh my gosh. Where do you actually do it out there? I mean, I see photos from last year. Is it at the park?
So this is our first year doing it out in Springdale. So we are doing it this year. We're out in Town Park. Last year we were out in Hilldale.
Oh, this is Hilldale.
Yeah,
I recognize that's Hilldale. Water Canyon behind. Okay.
Yes, yeah. This year's our first year in Springdale. And we're doing it out at Town Park. And some of our, Thursday and Sunday, we're doing it out in community. We're all about building community. It's the whole reason I started the festival was to bring people together and build community. So very focused on supporting local, partnering with local businesses. Nice. So Thursday and Sunday, those are all out in the community. So we'll workshops out at Cable Mountain Lodge. Sunday, there's stuff with Zion Guru.
My son's a guide for Zion Guru.
Oh,
He's
really?
a professional guide, yeah.
Look at us.
Good
Jeremy,
kid.
we're all connected in
I know,
all
it's
these
so
ways
fun,
that we
isn't it
didn't
so
know.
fun? Yeah, we didn't know this.
Yeah.
We didn't know this. Okay, let me ask you a
Great.
question. I want to share something and ask a question. Well, I want to share and then I'll ask. Okay. So my experience, right, in the short time we have is, so I'm a big time, so I'm not a yogi, I'm a cyclist. So I really am into riding mountain bikes and racing mountain bikes. I'm actually doing a lot of, not elite racing, but like 48-year-old middle-aged guy racing. And when you spend a lot of time on a bike, it's a static position, right? You're literally locked into a position. I ski a lot, and I mean a lot, and I take some hard wrecks because I ski pretty aggressively for 48. I want to share two things about my yoga experience. One is I swear to everyone out there that yoga allows me to do those things at the level I do. I was going like 3-4 days a week through the winter, and I took a couple of wrecks that were so bad this season where it was like full compression where my knees almost hit my chin. And I kid you not, I swear, like I owe yoga that I kind of came back, right? I was like, I should not have been able to recover from that easily. Number two, when I don't go for, say, a week, I was having this yesterday. It was a big training block over the weekend. I'm training for a bike race, and so it was a lot of time on the bike. And I got up yesterday and was Wednesday, and I had kind of a hard workout, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am missing being in the studio. I notice it when I don't. This is just unpaid endorsement. But it's like I start to miss it, not just the physical, but the feeling that I get.
Your soul misses it.
Yes, like
Yes.
every single
Your
time.
spirit. Yes,
I
spirit.
come out of the class and I'm like, okay, I'm fine. Because I didn't think I was fine before I walked in, but everything's okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, and
this is putting it in real
yes.
people's terms. This isn't about yin and chakras. This is like I go in stressed, I come out level.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Well, it's really incredible too, because sometimes you don't really even understand. You're like, well, I was just moving my body and I was just breathing. But the connection, just energetic stuff that balances things that you're able to process without even recognizing by doing breath and movement is just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. And it's really great. Yoga in the West, having yoga in the West is really incredible because there's all this science and research that's going into the impact of breath and impact of meditation and all that on our nervous systems. And with real estate, I mean, I would say selling a house, buying a house, property, all of that is some of the
Behind
most
what, Jesse? What are the
high
first two? What are the first two, Jesse? The most stressful items in life experiences?
Death and divorce.
Yeah.
Followed by
buying
moving.
Yeah, moving. So being able to get into a yoga studio, practice yoga, even at home. I started my yoga practice with online YouTube for a whole year before I ever set foot into a studio. So anytime you can get on your own mat is going to help you manage stress. It's going to help teach you skills to regulate your nervous system. So in these moments of high stress, like purchasing a property or selling a property, and
I'll often ask our team, I'll say, when was the last time you took a full breath? And you'll see this kind of collective, this recognition, like a couple of days ago. Okay, two questions. What do you feel like is the number one reason that people should engage just in yoga, period? Like, what would be a great reason? Like
number one reason why people should engage.
Like somebody off the street's like, well, I've kind of wanted to try that. It looks pretty cool. What would you say? Like, here's why you should try this.
I would say my opinion is yoga teaches you to connect inward.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're able to connect inward and really see parts of ourselves, and we're able to heal parts of ourselves,
without paying.
It impacts the collective and world as a whole. So for me, that's why is the internal connection to self and also like body. So, but lots of soul, spirit connection.
Yeah. What's really cool about it though is you don't even have to see it for it to heal. Because as the body and the spirit calms down.
Oh my goodness.
Not everything, but most parts will start to heal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what's cool. You don't have to know, you don't have to see, but
you feel
slowing down enough to feel. It's like your psyche sees it and you don't have to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it will start to
You're like, Jeremy, have you ever been in the yoga class and just started crying and you don't know why?
100%.
He talks about
what is happening.
4 months ago, it was beautiful. Exactly. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
4 months ago. Okay, I'm out of time, so I want to say two things. I've got Camille Zolman here with Zion Yoga Fest. She's a fantastic human and instructor. Very cool shoes, by the way.
Thank you.
So the ZionYogaFest.com, I'm going to beg for something from you. Do you maybe by chance have 1 or 2 passes that we can give away after this show?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, well, I think what we'll do is we'll give them away on social.
Sounds great.
Okay, so we're going to do that, guys. I want you to look at Larkin Group on Instagram. We'll throw an Insta post together later.
Yeah.
We'll give a couple of Yoga Fest passes away. There's a cost. Like, what's the value of a pass?
Full festival passes are $400. So
yeah. So it could be like a day pass, right? I'm not asking you for a full whatever you want to give.
We're going full. We talked on the phone before. We're doing
whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm going all in,
guys. How amazing is that? So visit ZionYogaFest.com. Camille, thank you for coming in here.
Thank you so much.
This is the kind of guys, and this is the kind of stuff. As I wrap up, and we're going to move into some more real estate talk. We want a community that's vibrant, that has cool stuff going on. I love the town. I was born and raised here. I'm looking at the cemetery where I can almost see where my plot is and where my parents' plots are, and my grandparents are buried.
That's
Literally,
great.
I have a plot.
Talk about staying close to home.
Well, and it's kind of like, here's why I say it. It's like so often people are like, why does everything have to change? Because this is evolution, and it is so good to see this stuff coming to town. It's why we have a weird mural on the side of our building. Thank you for coming in here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay.
Nice
you and I'll talk. We'll text
sure.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, guys. So ZionYogaFest.com. Thanks, Camille, for being here. Jesse is going to get his. He's going to get some stretching on. He needs it. Believe me, he needs it. The guy's as tight.
Do I ever?
As a human was ever strung. No, he's
not.
not.
I've been going to yoga, but they only have the class once every 2 weeks now.
No, that doesn't work, dude.
I need to connect.
That doesn't work
in Hurricane.
So speaking of stress, right? Our show's brought to you, by the way, not speaking of stress that way, by our friends at Guild Mortgage, Chantry Abbott and the Guild Mortgage team. So good. Chantry's going to be on the show, I think, in 2 weeks.
Nice.
Next week, we're going to talk about real estate careers. We're going to have a guy named Taylor Frampton in with us, and we're going to really talk about what the opportunity is and is not in real estate for careers. And I think that's going to be a cool show. Jesse, do you feel like it's true that housing affordability is at a historic low? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So he's correct. We have the data. Let's talk about it, man. Affordability historic low. Here's the crazy part. When was since 1990? What was the block of years that were the most affordable in real estate? They
were 2009, or actually 2011 and 12.
Yeah, but the whole block.
2009
we really call it
to 15.
9 to 15. Now this is
very affordable.
I want to paint a story for people. 2009 to 2015 was a time when people were afraid. Mm-hmm. Do you know why we didn't? We have another show. We have one of our YouTube shorts that's gone crazy. Is I wish I would have purchased between 5 and 30 homes during COVID. During COVID, it was one thing because people were like, "Oh, it's overpriced." 2009 to 2015 is when people had fear, especially 9 to 12. Mm. And people didn't buy real estate because they watched the market collapse and said, we'll die if we buy real estate. Yeah. We'll lose everything. Guys, if you look back on that time, you will see it was the smartest time to buy real estate in the history of any of our lifetimes, right? Since 1990, this is kind of interesting. The two other least affordable times happened to be 2006, 2 years before that meltdown.
Yep.
And 1990. 1990, this is what's called the Housing Affordability Index, and I won't bother you with how it works.
Here's what's interesting about that. Thinking back during that time, and what you said, the fear. The people that were actually doing their homework and going, hey, how can I do this? Made a lot of money because they made decisions at that time.
Should we paint a couple of pictures for you? So I was selling, a whole bunch of foreclosed property at the time.
Tons.
I was representing large banks, government institutions, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. And that was a very smart move. I really saved my business at the time. As a matter of fact, I grew our company. Well, I didn't know it was that smart of a move until hindsight was.
Yeah, you were just following, right?
I was doing what you do.
Following directions.
Mm-hmm. So we were selling, there's a place called Hidden Valley. We talk about this place all the time. Hidden Valley Townhomes off of Brigham Road.
I just put one of those under contract yesterday.
For a buyer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
What was the contract price?
$313. It was one of the smaller units. $313.
Wait a minute. Wait, the ones I'm talking about, there are no smaller units. They're all the same.
There is. The Hidden Valley Townhomes?
No, we're talking about the original Hidden Valley Townhomes. They're all 1,420 square feet. Okay, so maybe we have a different one. So, but while he's fiddling with it.
Maybe you're right. Maybe they are the same. But it seemed like a low price.
So we were selling these at the time for $85,000 to $90,000. Jesse has actually about 18 months ago, Jesse represented the highest sale on record ever at Hidden Valley. It was $396,000.
And from that point on, it went down.
Okay. $396,000. Let's say they're worth $3.25 today. You could have purchased those for $85,000 to $90,000 from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac in a foreclosure situation. Well, do you know why more people didn't buy them? We all thought, here's what happens in real estate. And if you're a buyer or a seller and the interesting thing about this kind of crisis psychology that I'm going to talk about is the psychology that, Camille was on here. We just had Camille Zolman of Zion Yoga Fest. So cool.
Oh, yep. You're right. They're all the same.
Yeah. 1,420 feet, right? How'd I do?
1,430. You're
1,430. Oh, sorry. I was 10 off. I know a few things. So might have sold a couple properties. We talked about death, divorce, and moving being three of the most stressful events in people's life. The mindset that you're in when you're buying or selling is very similar to if you had like a full life crisis going on. What we would define, Jesse, as a life crisis versus I'm moving.
Right.
So in the moment, you think if prices are falling, it feels like prices will continue falling for how long?
Forever.
Forever.
Yeah, forever.
When prices are going up, it feels like they'll keep going up how long?
Forever.
This is the mindset. You're like, oh my gosh, they'll never stop falling. And then you look back and go, darn it, man. Like, why didn't I buy?
I want to tie this back to what she was talking about. The world is going so fast, including our own brain.
2 minutes.
We don't slow down long enough to go, is that actually logical?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that actually true? Because
correct.
We don't slow down. Right? We're reacting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, one of the questions I like to ask clients is how would you know if that were or weren't true? Let's talk about this as we wrap up today. Home buyers want smaller homes. This is actually fascinating. Guys, I live in downtown St. George. Our office is in downtown St. George. And I dialed I was in a little challenge here, a little thing I did with one of our agents in our office. I dialed about 500 phone numbers around downtown St. George yesterday. Literally, basically cold called. And when I talked to a lot of homeowners, I said, hey, we've got many people looking for downtown. Have you considered selling your home? Mm-hmm. And they said, I had a guy say, really? People are looking downtown?
They are.
Listen, median square footage of finished area that buyers want. In 2003, buyers wanted 2,260 feet. By 2015, they wanted 2,020 square feet. Right now, 2023, in our final minute, buyers have said, I'd be good with 2,000 feet. We are changing. So let's go to downtown. Why is downtown so popular? Lots of small homes, lots of stuff under 500.
Smaller home, bigger lot.
Walkable.
Under 500.
Walk to Farmstead, to right? Walk to, get pizza or whatever. So if you're a seller and you're listening and you have like a smaller home and you're thinking like, wow, well, do people really want to buy? Like, I don't know if they want to live downtown. Yes, they do. Condos, townhomes. I want to talk more about this in the future. And so, guys, we're going to stay live today, aren't we? Yeah? Mal, we can keep going? So we're going to keep going after this show wraps up here, guys. Of course, you're listening to us on KDXU. And if you're watching on Facebook, we're going to be on facebook.com/St. George Experts, or just look up the Larkin Group on Facebook.
You'll find us.
And we're going to keep rocking and rolling. I'm going to guess at least another 30 minutes.
Okay.
And we're going to keep talking about some real estate because, Jesse, I want to work further through
this report,
our monthly economic report, guys. In the meantime, if you're listening on KDXU, visit us at gostgeorge.com or Google the Larkin Group. If you've thought about selling a property, we probably have someone in our ecosystem looking for it right now. Again, GoSt.George.com or the Larkin Group at Keller Williams Realty. Over and out. All right. We're off live radio. Let's keep chatting. If you guys are on Facebook. Okay. So I want to continue this conversation, and we're certainly live on Facebook. Good morning, Melissa, who was watching in here. And, our Larkin Group team, we told them this morning, I said, guys, don't be afraid to come downstairs and pay attention to what we're doing. What they don't know is I think there's this fear, like Tyler was creeping down the stairs, that they'll get in the frame. No, guys, this is so zoomed in that it's ridiculous, right? That all that shows is, 18 inches faces. either way of us. Yeah. So, all right, guys, we had Camille Zolman on this morning talking about the Zion Yoga Fest. She's going to give away a couple of 4-day passes to the Yoga Fest. We're going to be doing it on social media today.
That really made my day.
You will, guys.
How long have we been talking about I needed to find something in Hurricane?
Yeah. Moqui Yoga, MOQUI yoga.com. Guys, this will be a big giveaway today. If you want to get in on the giveaway, you're going to want to follow the Larkin Group on Instagram. That's at Larkin Group on Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to throw that in the show notes on Facebook at Larkin Group on Instagram for a chance. Okay, Jesse, talk to me about this affordability issue. Here's one of the questions people are asking right now. They're like, how are people, and I want to talk with Chantry Abbott in a couple weeks, but you get this question often, like I do. Hey, how are people buying homes? Right?
Yeah.
Do you get the question?
I do.
Okay. Yes. Talk about it, brother.
It's through very strategic planning, right? Okay.
What's up, Lou? Lou Gbur, one of the great agents, by the way. Lou's our on-the-ground guy in Cedar City, Utah. Last night, before you even go further,
great dude.
He's always been a creeper. Right now, he's on the stairs creeping.
Yeah.
Last night, this is the kind of power that we have with our team. Okay, if you're a buyer or seller,
so good.
And you say, I'm moving from St. George to Timbuktu. Okay, and you go, I don't even know, how would I find a realtor? There's so many. Last night, I got a text message. It was 7 p.m. and the gal said, hey, this is Sally Sue, realtor. That wasn't actually her name. And she said, I'm out of Whittier, California, Keller Williams Realty.
Okay.
Looked you guys up. They look up our track record. Looks like you guys know the town. Do you have a great person in Cedar City? We have a wonderful client who's moving there and needs to buy a home. I said, I sure do. Within 30 minutes, I had sent Lou her contact. I'd sent her Lou's contact. I opened a 3-way text. She got on the phone with Lou. And here's the cool part. Her client, who's moving from Whittier, California, instead of getting on Zillow, instead of getting on Google, local realtor, and then sign up for a local realtor's website and see how many times you get called. We know we do it. And now we've connected them to Lou. She's literally handed her client off with white gloves to an agent. So here's where I'm going. Any city in the United States of America, I just referred a client. So how cool is that, Lou? Kind of awesome. Yeah. And what's so fun is Lou's done a lot of, he's a carpenter and done a lot of, he does beautiful craft work. As a matter of fact, Lou, what is your Etsy page called?
The Rusty Suitcase.
The Rusty Suitcase. Oh, Lou's just got on the show. Okay, sit down. Sit your butt down.
Did you know that's how I got on the show? Actually, I was lurking.
And literally, and he's doing field work today. Okay, this is hilarious. I told the team we were going to get them on the show, but now he's sitting on the show.
Here he is.
You're in now, dude. At least give us a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Okay, so we're shifting gears. Rusty Suitcase is a place that we purchase client gifts from. So if you go to Etsy, Rusty Suitcase, this stuff's cool.
He makes some awesome
what do you guys like? What do you sell? What do you make?
A lot of it is 3D art created
cool.
with wood. Pretty much anything you can imagine. We do a lot of animals. We do a lot of last name stuff. If you're interested in anything, we can pretty much come up with a design for you and make it happen. We also do some really nice cutting boards out of exotic woods like Purple Heart and sapele and all sorts of really good stuff that comes from out of the country. Looks really
buddy.
And then I also do carpentry on the side. Anything having to deal with residential homes.
Yep.
I'm pretty good at. I stay away from plumbing, but just about anything else I can handle.
I just linked that in.
This is kind of cool.
Facebook.
So, because we're going to keep him here for 2 minutes. So I refer this client to you. This agent gets referred to you.
Yeah.
Guy's coming from Whittier, California. He's like, wasn't he kind of like an old construction guy?
He is. He was a contractor. For
you're
his
kind of
whole
guy.
life. Yeah. So the agent was really happy to connect him with me because she feels like we'll be a really good fit together.
Nice.
So, and here's what's so cool about it. When we make a referral like this, often when they call into my team, Lou is on the ground in Cedar, and I knew he'd do a great job.
Yeah.
I typically make a personality match is what I do. I didn't get on the phone with the client. I often get on the phone with the client. And so
but you can tell by talking to them who the person is.
And then
who
I
you
will
need.
literally hand place them with an agent on our team. And what people don't realize is it's really scary to move across the country, right? Like it's scary to move across town. And so what happens when you're like, dude, I went to Zillow.com and I filled out a form one time on one, like I literally clicked on the send me more info. And the way it's all auto-populated, it took a click to throw your name and email in, and 17 agents called you. And suddenly you're going, aren't all agents the same? Right? Like, okay, I want to ask Lou a question. Lou is a phenomenal agent. He also assists with something, but I want to talk about something that sellers don't realize they have at their fingertips and realtors don't realize they have at their fingertips. Lou, do agents on the Larkin Group have to leave the office from negotiating contracts and working with clients on the phone and handling marketing to go put signs on lock boxes on houses?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we have a field service tech that does all that, which I also help with. And then
isn't this cool?
We have another in-house field service tech, and yeah, it's wonderful. Helps us get to know the whole lay of the land even more than we did before.
I saw some data that said there were like 188 tasks in a real estate transaction. And here's what realtors try to do. This is classic.
Do them all.
Realtors literally are like, I did the licensing exam. I make the phone calls to find the clients. I make the phone calls to follow up with the clients that call me. I set the appointments. I go to their house. I look at their house. I create the paperwork. I sign the paperwork. Excuse me. I bring the paperwork back to my office. When that's all said and done, I do like a pretty half-cracked job at it because I'm actually just a real estate agent. I'm not really I'm not like a person who's an expert with paperwork. So then I pull together all the photos, and then I have to hire a photographer if I'm not going to do the photos, and then plug all the photos into like 17 websites. And then I have to drive to their house, and I put a sign in the ground, and I put a lockbox in the ground. And I'm going to ask you a question. If you're a seller, Jesse, is that what you want your agent to be doing instead of marketing and negotiating for you?
You want them marketing and negotiating. You want them looking for a buyer.
The funny part is there would be a perception in a lot of home sellers' eyes. Well, yeah, that means he's earning his money. So one of the things we did years ago is I said, look, I can't have agents at the Larkin Group doing that because it pulls you off of the core tasks, which are finding clients and serving clients.
Great point.
That's it, right? So guys, you're not putting up signs. You're not putting up lock boxes. You're not taking down signs, not taking down lock boxes. Good grief. We literally order the photography on behalf of our agents. We work with multiple photographers. We have an administrative and marketing team in the back end that uploads it. It's a well-oiled machine. And so I love that you help with it and you've saved our life. Guys, if you're looking to buy or sell in Cedar City, we have an on-the-ground guy. Lou, where'd you move from, by the way?
I moved from Loganville, Georgia, about 45 minutes east of Atlanta, and then originally from Chicago.
Yeah. Everybody knows Loganville. Kidding. Like people like,
I was like, what?
I thought he was going to say Logan, Utah. I knew it was not Logan, Utah. So I was like, I don't remember it was Loganville, Georgia. So how long were you in Georgia?
Almost 7 years. Yeah. I moved there in 2011 and I moved back out here in 2018. So
what was the biggest challenge you married child moving from Georgia to Enoch, Utah? Cedar City, but Enoch.
Oh man. I mean, the logistics were definitely tough to do. We had animals, so we had to fly with our animals out here. I had to hire
cows, chickens. It was weird on United Airlines. They wondered what was up. Okay, but we get it.
And we had two different trucks, two 26-foot trucks that I had to hire two drivers for because we had so much crap that we had to haul out here to be able to throw away half of it when we got it here, which is typical.
You're supposed to do that the other way around.
I know, right?
Throw it away.
Yeah, but we don't.
I know,
But
right?
we don't.
I think I had about that much.
It's
Not
so
quite.
comical, but yeah, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to try to move cross country. So I moved from Chicago down to Georgia, which was a challenge in itself. And then once I acquired a whole nother truck's worth of stuff in 7 years in Georgia, it became even tougher to try to get everything out here.
This is crazy. So when did you guys move out to Enoch?
We moved to Enoch, I think in 2018. I actually moved to St. George, to my wife's old home in 2017, I think, in August. So
Yeah. Why Iron County?
Me personally, the reason that I didn't want to stay in St. George is because I'm a baby and I can't handle the heat. So I preferred the snow in the winter versus the heat in the summer. And
I can't blame you there.
Yeah,
It's freaking hot here.
I grew up with snow and cold weather, so it really doesn't bug me to be at 6,000 foot elevation and have a little snow for the winter. It's wonderful for me. But yeah, it's not for everybody. If you're not wanting to do any shoveling or have to deal with sub frigid temperatures, then,
Well, and it's legit 6,000 because Jesse and I raced actually technically in Enoch Three Peaks last weekend, our bikes.
Yeah.
And, which is Enoch. I mean, there is Three Peaks recreation area. And I looked at my elevation charts from the race and the climbing up, it was hitting pretty close to 6. And then, pretty close to 6,000 feet. But look,
that tells me why I wasn't breathing as
and a mile's 5,280 feet.
Yeah.
So you're already above a mile.
You're sitting at about 2,700.
Eat your heart out, Denver.
You're sitting, let me tell you where you're sitting right now. I thought I had it right here. You're sitting at 2,765 in our office. Okay.
Gotcha.
2,765 feet of elevation at Larkin Group headquarters, Tabernacle Street downtown. So Lou, when you work with a client who's moving cross country, I'm like, you have an intimate appreciation to uproot for what uprooting is.
I feel everything that they're going through. I completely understand it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, guys. Lou Gbur, it's Gbur. Listen, we were talking about spotlighting some agents, and this guy's actually earned his keep. And I think
He's been doing a good job.
This is pretty good. And so this is kind of fun to talk about referrals. So, all right.
Well, thank you for having me on for
Dude,
a
thanks
quick
for hanging
sec.
out for a minute,
thank
brother.
you so much. I'm
You're
going to
in
go
now.
continue getting to work here.
You're in now. Yeah, because we're staying live. Guys, by the way, guys, feel free to comment if you're watching the Facebook feed. Thanks, brother.
Thanks
Okay,
a
Jesse.
lot.
Okay, question. Jesse, what do you think going back to
How are people buying homes?
I mean, I'm getting asked this question right now at least weekly and sometimes a couple, like, Jeremy, how's anyone even buying a home?
So, for the most part, they're strategically doing it, right? Okay, what is available? What can I afford? How can I make it more affordable? I think that's the biggest one. What options are available to make this more affordable for me?
Yeah.
And
rate buy downs.
Rate buy
and
downs.
again, we'll have Guild Mortgage in here to talk about
maybe
what that
we
looks
have to go for a smaller home, or maybe we're going for a townhome, or how can we just get in the game? And then versus this is what I want, and if I can't have it, I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah,
right.
Correct.
It's going, okay, what is the temperature of the market? How could I do this? What would make it more affordable? And then really going in for a game plan.
Yeah.
That truly works.
Yeah. Look,
having a long-term vision of it instead of just right now or just a couple years. Because this is a market that is a long-term market.
Absolutely. Well, and I want you to say more for our listeners. Define a long-term. What do you mean by that?
Well, because if you believe the market, if you believe the market's going to go down. Now, none of us know the future. But what we do know is the past. There's never been a 10-year period in southern Utah where the values have been lower than they were 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. So that's what I mean by long-term vision. Don't just buy for this year, especially if you're renting. If you're renting a home, you're going to be spending that money anyway, and it's not going to go towards anything.
I mean, you do get to live in the home.
You get to live in the home, but it's just like renting a car, right? Would you rent your car for the next 10 years?
I mean, some people lease, but I prefer to own.
Right. But even when you lease it, you buy some of it.
Yeah.
It's not the same as rental.
Well, and
because you don't get anything back.
Yeah. You have nothing. And look, if you look at annual payments, so annual monthly payments right now in the real estate market in 2019, this is kind of crazy, right? This is principal and interest, not including taxes and insurance. And everyone in Washington County got a little surprise on their tax bill this year because the Washington County assessor, I got a surprise. It surprised me, guys, and we literally do this for a living.
Yeah.
My payment went up a couple of $100 on one of my rentals, and I was like, what? So I wasn't thinking, and I called the mortgage company, and they said, yeah, the impound account for escrow went up. And so they have reassessed all the properties based on home value increases. And I think one of the challenges with this is that look, if I told you, I'll trade you $50,000 in equity, I'll give you $50,000 in equity in your home if you'll pay an extra $600 a year in property taxes, you'd say yes. But the problem is that as a homeowner, you don't enjoy the equity you actually in the short term.
You say yes until it actually happens. And then you're like, oh, but here's what happened there though. Literally they were, I'm going to say a year and a half to 2 years behind.
Probably 2 years.
So we enjoyed for 2 years lower taxes than we were supposed to be paying. And then, so when the market got a little bit sideways, all of a sudden our taxes went up and we're saying, well, wait a minute. What happened?
Yeah.
I actually had this conversation with somebody. I said, okay, but let's look at this. Let's actually look at the last 5 years. And this was in Iron County. They're even further behind. So I said, you have a choice here. You could have been paying that high tax all this time, or be happy that it just went up.
Yeah. Correct. And this is why I don't disagree. And I think that's the challenge with the property tax increase. We don't see the benefit of it in the short term. We just see the increase and we pay the increase. Now, when you sell your property or decide to pull the equity out for like to buy an investment property, I don't know, a boat, renovate your house. But look at this, guys, annual monthly payment. This is the challenge in the United States. This is a national number. This is principal interest excluding taxes and insurance, which is going to add another several $100 a month. It went from $1,054 a month in 2019 to $2,040 in 2000 in now.
Yep,
guys, that's a double. So the average monthly payment doubled in 5 years, and that obviously is a challenge. Now let's talk about generations, because Gen Z is asking, "Can I buy a home?" And Gen Z, by the way, I'll define it for you. We're born in 1907 to 2012. It's all of my 4 children are Gen Z.
Okay, yep.
So, I often hear folks say, well, who can afford in St. George? Well, my kids will be able to afford a home here. Well, I want you to know that I'm going to make a statement that may not be very popular. The chances are that no, they won't. And they definitely, this is what I want to.
It's going to have to change for them to be able to.
I want to reframe your perspectives and expectations. They won't be able to afford one in their 20s. And so maybe when they go away, and so St. George is a resort town. And St. George became a resort town. Actually, in the 80s, they started this campaign that was called, that they said, where the summer sun, get it wrong every time, spends the winter. And when they did that, we literally, there was this line of demarcation. We said, we drew a line and said, we're now a resort town.
It got even bigger when Zion really started pushing their marketing.
Yeah.
When that happened, when Zion went from 400,000 or 500,000 visitors a year to multi-millions.
Yeah, I think it's 4 or 5 million now.
Then that really had an impact.
Yeah. So
which was about 2005, 2006.
And yes, and St. George is, let's think about some things. It's on the road to everywhere. It's on Interstate 15. It's not too hot like Vegas and Phoenix. It's not cold like we just talked about Cedar City this morning, where it snows and you drive 45 minutes and you're in 6,000 feet, and we're 2,700 feet here. And it has a lot to offer. So the first answer to the question, will my Gen Z kids be able to afford a home here? While they're young, absolutely not. They won't.
Yeah.
So reframe your expectation, because do you know that owning a home, let's say before you're 30 years old, is not a human right? Having adequate housing, shelter is a human right. So they probably won't be able to afford to live here until they go away. They go to, I know you're dying. Every show you're dying. Before they go away, before they go, I want you to practice that yoga breathing that Camille talked about this morning.
I'm working on it. Did you see I didn't even interrupt? I was just sitting here
because I caught and so this is awesome. I love this guy. I'm gonna get this thought out. I'm gonna make you wait longer. I'm gonna make you wait longer. Just breathe.
I've got patience, man. I got patience since I met you
So
that I
good.
never had before.
That's what all the women say. Just practice that yogic breath, belly breath, Jesse. So maybe when these Gen Zs go away, they graduate from a university, or they build a business, or maybe they partner with another Gen Z, they get married, they partner a dual income household. You're definitely going to have dual income or a high single income to live in St. George. They can come back and live here. So I just want to say this for like the 18th time. I'm going to loop it again. Your child, it is not a right to own a home in St. George, anywhere in the world.
No,
it is a human right to have adequate housing, shelter, safe housing, shelter, right? So there you go. That's just a fact, dude.
And even there, is it actually a right? Because we still have to pay for it.
Well, it's what they call, this is, we can get in that conversation.
Human need.
Yeah. Well, we talk about, there's just kind of several things that we talk about. One of the things that we really need every human being to have adequate shelter. So look at this. By population, this is fascinating. Gen Z are your people born 97 to 2012. Well, as a distribution, your actual, does anybody know what the largest generation we have in terms of the distributions? By the way, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, baby boomers, the silent generation, and of course the greatest generation. Does anybody know which of those is actually the greatest in population? We're just going to see if no one's answering.
I'm holding off. Let's see if anybody on Facebook answers.
Yeah, I don't even know if who knows? They may or may
There's
not.
a few people.
Okay, if they may or may not answer. The largest generation by population is actually millennials. And millennials are born 81 to 96, right? So I'm a Gen Xer, right? 81 to 96 are millennials. They make up 21.67% of our population. And we're talking about this in real estate terms. Your second largest, guess what? It used to be baby boomers, but guess what's happening with a lot of baby boomers?
Generation.
Well, some of them are passing away.
Yeah, they're
okay.
It's that time.
So baby boomers were born 46 to 64. So a fair amount of them, you have baby boomers moving on, right? So baby boomers make up 20.58%. Gen Z makes up, that's our third greatest. Gen Z makes up 20.8%, born 97 to 2012. And the millennials, born 81 to 96, make up 21.67%. Now, that's 3, 2, and 1. The fourth place are Gen X. That's my group, 19.6%. The silent generation, my parents were born in the silent generation, born 1928 to 1945. It makes up 5.49%. And the greatest generation, Tom Brokaw had a beautiful book about that, didn't he? 0.2 actually of a percent, which was born before 28. Just not many of that great generation. All right. So I don't know. We just have to understand, Jesse, that yeah, people need a place to live, but it doesn't mean they have to have a home that they own in St. George.
Yeah. Well, and I think, and this is...
Or Cedar City.
We're not seeing it a lot in St. George a lot yet, but we're going to see smaller and smaller and smaller homes. Now we're seeing some, but not a lot.
What is the greatest, from condos, townhomes, single family, what is the greatest distribution of smaller homes in southern Utah? They're coming in the form of what? Townhomes.
Yep.
Is that in Cedar City as well?
Yep. Cedar City as well.
If you drive that Highway 56 out the west side, so many townhomes.
That's the only way they've figured out right now to how to keep them still more affordable.
Yeah.
Because to try to put a single family home on the dirt, it pushes it out.
Yes.
Just high enough to where it's not affordable for your average, your median income.
Yes.
Which is, Cedar City and St. George is right around 60 something thousand.
It's not even nearly enough.
Right?
It's not, guys. It's not nearly enough
for the household income.
Yeah. This is not nearly enough to purchase most homes.
So we're going to see
in Washington County.
That square footage dropping more and more.
Talk to our listeners, Jesse, about home values, Cedar City versus St. George. If I come to Southern Utah and I say, I really love Southern Utah, I don't have to live in St. George. I can live in Cedar City. I think it's beautiful up there. I like the cool restaurants and shops. And last week, I was up there with a friend mountain biking after the race. And then we went to the pub craft kitchen and had like a beautiful burger. And they're like, I like the Shakespearean Festival and I kind of like the elevation. What was the generic difference, Jesse, just spitballing in home values across the board? St. George versus Cedar. Are we talking about a $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, $150,000 difference?
So for the median sales price, now this is actually 2023.
Yeah, but I think you can spitball it.
So we're looking at about $100,000 difference.
Okay. So $100,000 difference between St. George and Cedar City. Is this correct?
Yeah, roughly.
Is this correct? So I think this is why a lot of sellers are finding,
Yeah, so your median sales price in Iron County for March is $389,000.
Okay.
Okay. And in Washington County.
Okay. 389?
Yeah.
Wow. So a little bit lower even than I thought.
Yep. And in Washington County, it's roughly about 500.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Okay. So this is kind of interesting. Okay. And I'm doing a little bit of research here.
Okay. So now actually it's 120 or 524 median sales price.
That's
Washington
a pretty
County.
big difference.
So it's actually more than 100,000. It's 140,000 difference.
Okay. Watch this. Okay. Let me show you something, guys. If I said I want to go to Iron County and purchase median's priced like a townhome or something up there. If I had 10% down, I paid $389. I had 10% down, not 20. So $38,900 down, which it's still a lot of money.
Yep.
30-year mortgage. I had a 7.1% interest rate. I'm going to have a monthly principal, interest, tax, and insurance payment about $2,681.
Mm-hmm.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, big time.
That's a lot of money. But watch, I'm not done. Let's now say that you're in St. George and you do the same thing with 10% down. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why why we're seeing a lot of activity in Cedar City. Your payment goes from $2,600 to $3,151.
Yeah.
59. Okay. So there's a
big difference.
There's a $550 difference in monthly mortgage payment on average between Cedar City and St. George, which is why, Jesse, this spring we saw Cedar City's market ignite.
Right? Because the income isn't, when you look at the median income, it's not that much different.
Correct.
Like a couple grand.
Correct. Okay, I want to go for it. I'm gonna ask one thing, and then next week, guys, 2 weeks from now, we're gonna bring Chantry Abbott in, Guild Mortgage, and what we're gonna talk about is we're gonna talk about cash gifts. We're gonna talk about down payment assistance programs, rate buy downs. Like we're gonna talk about how people are really buying homes, because I don't want to take his thunder.
We're gonna talk about the actual strategy of, okay, how do we actually make this affordable?
Yeah,
it takes away from fear to actual reality.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the odds of a rate cut. September, they're talking about rate cuts. Jesse, I want to get into all of it. Okay. What slide were you on? Okay, here we go. Distressed property sales. I want to wrap up today. This percentage of distressed property sales across North America. A lot of people are asking us.
That one amazed me.
Yeah, about property, about foreclosures. Okay.
What number is that?
So I'm looking at slide 72. So the percentage of distressed property sales, distressed sales, foreclosures, and short sales represented 2% of sales in February in the United States. Okay. And that is according to the National Association of Realtors. That's just a big chart, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think we don't see more foreclosures?
Because people have so much equity. They don't have to go into foreclosure. They have options.
Correct. They could sell it.
Even today, they still have options.
They could sell the home. Mm-hmm. They could you know, I mean, they could put themselves further upside down by, not further upside down, but take out a home equity line of credit and live on the equity. I mean, like, there's a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
Right.
There's still so much equity that they do not have to go to foreclosure.
Yeah. There's no reason to lose your home. So last night I was chatting with my son. He was doing the senior sunrise for his high school here, which means, you know, he's a junior and they were going to be up all night for the sunrise. And I should have looked this morning to see if they were up on the Red Hill. Unless they did it, they used to do it up there, but I was doing other things. They may have done it down at off of Bear Claw Poppy, the trail, because that's where they're at last night. And he said, okay, it's going to be 60 degrees for low. Maybe I'll take a hoodie, right? And I said, remember, the only people who are cold, Matt, are who? And he said, those who are stupid or poor. And so that's our joke. It's a family joke.
That's fine.
The only time you should be cold is if you're stupid or poor. Well, the only time you should lose your home to foreclosure is if you don't have any equity and you can't pay the bills. Because if you have equity, you should sell the home, right? If you're in danger of foreclosure, first of all, you should pick up the phone and call your bank and say, I'm in trouble.
You should actually explore all your options. Go,
Yeah.
okay, what options do I have?
Right.
How many options do I have?
Right.
But a lot of times people get into fear and then they freeze
Yeah. Correct.
instead of really going, okay, what can we do?
Yeah.
What am I not thinking about?
Correct.
That's where a professional can come in, where you can sit down and really mastermind all of the different options you might have.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Right. So talk to your mortgage, call the guy or gal that did the original mortgage loan for you, visit with them, call the mortgage company, whether it's, I don't know who it could be, Bank of America, or maybe it's, Guild Mortgage that we work with, or one of these companies. Have a conversation. Say, I'm in a financial bind. In a worst case scenario, if you have equity, you can sell that home, right? And what we know right now, guys, is in Southern Utah, we have plenty of willing and able buyers, even at elevated prices and interest rates, purchasing property today, right?
It's true.
And we know this. We're closing property. This is kind of fun. If I look at right now, and I'm not even, gosh, Jesse, I actually can share this from the back end of our world, the Larkin Group's. Let me go into my transactions tab. I think this would be kind of interesting. We have 24 clients that are somewhere in a contract process right now. Okay.
25. There's one of them not there.
Ooh, nice. You guys want to hear these addresses? Listen to where we're representing buyers or sellers right now in an official binding contract. Spanish Fork, Utah; Cedar City, Utah; Cedar City, Utah; Enoch, Utah; Enterprise, Utah; Ivins, Utah; New Harmony; Santa Clara; St. George; 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 Washington; St. George again; Washington; Cedar City again. And where's the last one?
St. George.
St. George. So, by the way, guys, if I come in and rank these, let's see if I can organize them that way. These run right now from, this is crazy, from $120,000 do you still have a building lot up there closing?
Yeah, 2.
From $120,000 for a building lot in Cedar City to a $1.649 million home that our great Jessica Marone, who's really specialized, we've had her on the show working with the high end in Washington. So
you want a good high end realtor. She is awesome.
She's amazing and understands the language, right, of that market. And so look, guys, there are buyers and right now looking to purchase properties. Visit us anytime. Go stgeorge.com. It doesn't mean we'll respond anytime, but we're pretty responsive from like 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Somebody is. Go stgeorge.com. Google the Larkin Group. Catch us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/St. George Experts. On Instagram is at Larkin Group. Gosh, we're on YouTube. We have so many videos on YouTube. You can't get enough of it, guys. Jesse, thanks for hanging out, man.
You bet, man. Thank you for having me.
Licensed with Keller Williams Realty, over and out.